Well, welcome everybody to another edition. Yes, Grizzly's Paranormal True Crimes, talking about Summer Wells case, part 3, the reveal. So, welcome, Lady Wolf, Tess, Nicole, South and West Yorkshire Paranormal Team, Missy, Juju. How's everybody doing? I see Lola. I see Kat. I see Kelly Joe. I see Derek. Oh, and hello, Stephanie. So, I was going to do some things to some people that actually had these Facebook groups that were, helping this case out, but it wasn't no part of the show. But I'm going to leave them out. So, it's interesting. So, we've been covering this case now for a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. About a 5-year-old that goes missing. And it's weird because where they live is on 11 acres, which I said last week. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a lot of square footage in an acre. But while I was doing some more investigation, there has been a couple of new videos that came onto YouTube. Now, I don't know what the deal is with these videos. However, they may be. This is for entertainment purposes only. All parties are proven innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, which we may have to state that, which we do. So, exhibit 1. Let's show this video and see what people think. So, let me share the audio because I'm always terrible with sharing audio with this. So, so let's share the audio. So, this says they dropped a bomb. So, what bombshell has been dropped? I have no idea, but let's take a look at it just before we get involved. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I just pulled her up, bring her over my stories. I say, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Yeah." Did she spit up water or anything? Was she laughing? She was just laughing. Okay. I was just saying because after the effects of that, the rock, because it was a short period of time, right, where they dropped me off that she said they should miss it. Got it. Straight up. So, in that moment where she's in the water, short period of time, right, where they dropped me off that she said they should miss it. Got it. Straight up. So, in that, Candace, where is your daughter? You know exactly where Summer is. You know what happened. Hunter is telling the truth, and the bomb has been dropped. This is Unknown Things Investigate, and I told you I'd catch you on the flip side.
Wow, that was very interesting. That made no sense to me. So one of those assholes, I guess, trying to get YouTube views. So let's go to exhibit number 2, YouTube video, Summer Wells. See how people try to make a circus out of this? Then they want to know why people do not want to talk to people that's actually trying to help people. So, Summer Wells, type this in. Exhibit 2. Now, this happened 9 days ago. Let me bring it up. bringing it up on the other screen. And let me pause it so I can share the audio. Hopefully it's not the same thing, which it looks like it's going to be. So we'll skip that one. And we'll go to exhibit number 3, which was 3 weeks ago. And we'll play part of this video. So let me pause it and share the audio. And see what is going on for this one. All right, here we go. Share screen, present. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get past this commercial here.
Side hustle, because on the
Today, we're at a case that we have discussed previously on this channel and have been following closely for almost 2 years. This case has absolutely grasped the attention of everybody, it feels like, in the true crime community. It also has become somewhat of a circus, with a lot of viewers, in my opinion, being unable to decipher what's real and what's not. So today I want to go over all of the information in one concise and detailed video and hopefully bring more awareness to this case. Now, if you haven't guessed by now, this is the missing and ongoing case of Summer Wells. My name is Annie Elise, this is 10 to Life, and let's jump right in.
And but it didn't bother her.
We've seen that.
I can't even tell you. I know I went to the hospital at 8, took my mom, dropped her off, and I was sitting there, and Hunter called me and asked me what I was doing. I said I was sitting at the hospital in the parking lot waiting on my mom to get done. And he said, well, why don't y'all come over? I said, well, as long as your mom says it's okay. And I guess he woke her up or said something to her, and he said, yeah, she said it's fine for a little bit.
So Candace and Summer drove to Hunter's place in Candy's truck, but it's unclear how long they stayed there or what they did there. Candace received a call informing her that her mother Candy was ready to be picked up. He agreed, but told him that he had to check with his mom, Allie, first. After getting permission from his mom, the three of them went back to the hospital to pick up Candy.
Which we all know. We covered that.
Entry. And since day one, Candace is adamant that there is no way that Summer would have just walked out of that door and into the woods on her own. She stated that if she did go outside, then she was likely walking to the swing set because Summer did like to play on the swings. Candace said that she kept Summer aware of how scary the woods could be, and that's why she would never walk out on her own. She reminded her often of the scary creatures and animals that lived in the woods and how there were bears and coyotes, further bolstering her opinion that Summer would never go out there on her own willingly.
My daughter never goes out into the woods because we've taught her there's dangerous snakes, there's bears, there's packs of dogs, there's coyotes, there's everything magical out there in the woods that my boys like. And I have never stressed that enough. I tell her that every day.
Right.
And she would never, ever go anywhere than that swing that's on that tree.
Okay.
There has been a lot of speculation surrounding the circumstances of how Summer could have gone missing. Considering that Candace and Candy were in close proximity, less than 50 feet away, it seems unlikely that someone could have taken Summer from the house without them noticing. It would have had to have happened within 2 to 5 minutes and within close proximity to 5 other people, a pretty brazen act. Despite this, the Wells family maintains that they did not hear or see anything. On the first day of Summer's disappearance, a significant number of volunteers, estimated to be between 60 to 80 people, came forward to help search for her. This included various organizations, such as the Churchill Search and Rescue Team, Hawkins County Emergency Management Agency, and Emergency Medical Services, Hawkey County's 911, the Sheriff's Office, and even a local fire department. Cadaver dogs were also brought in to assist in the search, with the hopes of picking up Summer's scent and locating her. The search efforts were extensive and involved multiple teams working together to try and find her. However, despite their efforts, Summer's whereabouts remained unknown. This little girl was missing. Where could she have gone? The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was immediately contacted and became involved in the case. With the challenging terrain of the Wells property, though, which included hills, a creek, and very rough terrain, the search efforts were intensified. Aerial searches from the Highway Patrol's aviation unit and even the Air Service were performed, which extended well into the night. On Wednesday, June 16th at 12:06 a.m., the TBI issued an endangered child alert. At 11 a.m., an official Amber Alert was also issued in efforts to locate 5-year-old Summer. A press conference was held to inform the public about Summer's disappearance and to request nearby residents to check their trail cameras for any unusual activity. About 30 tips were called in before the end of the day. The police conducted an extensive search covering over 680 acres in the first few days and a total of more than 5,000 acres. Search teams said steep and dangerous terrain, including dense canopy coverage and ground cover, were hampering their efforts, though. Poor cell service was also making it difficult for them to communicate. On the first day, Candace was taken to the police station for a polygraph test, but she was too distraught to complete it due to constantly crying and difficulty in speaking. She was brought in for the test again after 5 days. Dawn and Candy also underwent polygraph tests, and all 3 of them passed. A few weeks after the initial search, Candace expressed that she was unhappy with how the search was conducted, specifically regarding the use of cadaver dogs. She claimed that she was not informed beforehand about the deployment of cadaver dogs, and as a result, her own dogs were outside and may have distracted the cadaver dogs. However, evidence suggests otherwise, as the cadaver dogs did pick up Summer's scent and followed a path from the back basement door down a ravine to the main road, where the scent was then lost. After learning about this, Candace and Dawn are insistent that someone parked their car at the bottom of the road, walked up the steep ravine, grabbed Summer from the basement, walked back down, put Summer in their car, and drove off. Since the beginning, both Candace and Dawn have been adamant about Summer being abducted, and they still are. Now let's discuss the layout of the Wells house, as it appears to be a bit unusual. Upon entering the main floor of the house, there is a TV and living area. The boys' sleeping areas are located upstairs. There is a small crawl space that leads down to the basement, where one has to crawl under a table-like structure, which then leads into the master bedroom/basement area. Continuing further, there is another small room that belongs to Summer, although she mostly slept in her parents' bed.
Do you want every week as a ClickBank affiliate? Just imagine getting almost guaranteed.
The TBI has been very outspoken in saying that the family has been nothing but cooperative, but that nobody is being ruled out as a suspect. Candace was also very public with her frustration with several of their neighbors not allowing the police to search their property, which, I mean, it's understandable. Search all areas, every single corner possible. But there is no legal obligation for those neighbors to allow the police to search their land. Jody Sue Brown, a neighbor of the Wells family, came forward with a very disturbing account that she and her children had actually heard a chilling scream from outside their cabin shortly before learning of Summer's disappearance. She described the scream as animalistic, but not from any known animal species.
Kind of hyper alert because of property things that had happened the day before. So we were listening for noise. Everything was kind of quiet.
The sale brought a plethora of people to their door, confused about which piece of land was for sale, leading to a dispute of property lines.
While we were out at one point doing survey lines, and there was a flash of a car that went up Candace and Donnie's driveway. Something about it struck me wrong.
She and her family next heard a truck door slamming and dismissed it as their neighbors. The next sound was harder to justify. About an hour and a half before Summer is thought to go missing, Jody Sue, her son, and her daughter heard something far more suspicious. A scream.
It stopped all 3 of us cold.
Her daughter was the first to go to the cabin door. Then all 3 were there, listening still.
We heard just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
Animalistic, but not an animal.
Knew it was, wrong. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't an animal.
The police and TBI have, of course, interviewed Jody Sue, but they determined that all of her claims have nothing to do with Summer's disappearance. Candace has continued to be vocal this entire time that she doesn't think that the police are doing enough to find Summer, and that she thinks it's because her and her family are poor. Hunter, the 15-year-old neighbor, initially thought that Candace was joking when she called him to tell him that Summer had gone missing. He didn't hear from her again until the next day on Wednesday when she called him from the police station. Their next contact was the next day on Thursday, when Candace went to Hunter's house to talk to him about her trip to the police station and also to ask him not to tell anyone that she gave him that drink twisted tea. In that same visit, Hunter said that he snuck into Candace's car to see if anything was suspicious. He went through her phone and looked through her Google Photos trash folder, where he claims he saw 13 messages between her and her dealer. And in those messages, Candace had allegedly said something referring to it as being done. And I'm quoting done there. And as Hunter was looking at all that, Candace ran back to her car and confronted Hunter, asking if he had gone through her phone. Since then, Hunter has been advised not to have any contact with the Wells family at all. His cell phone was also taken into TBI custody so that they could further clarify his story. On June 22nd, 1 week after Summer's disappearance, the TBI reported receiving at least 221 tips. Investigators continued to push residents in the area to check their barns, crawl spaces, anything, any places that a child might hide, while specialized searches in the Beach Creek community carried on. And on June 22nd, investigators set up a roadblock to ask drivers if they noticed anything unusual on the day that Summer disappeared. On June 26th, the TBI asked for the driver of a Toyota pickup truck to come forward after a witness reported seeing it in the Beach Creek area late afternoon or early evening on June 14th or June 15th. Officials said that the person may have seen something related to Summer's disappearance. The truck was described as a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack along with white buckets in the bed of the truck. They said that this person isn't necessarily named a suspect, but that they may have witnessed something. But to date, the driver has not been found, which kind of gives me the chills, just like the Elantra in the Idaho 4 murders and Brian Koberg. The owner of this Elantra coming forward, if they were nearby, surely they've heard of this case. Surely the Toyota owner here has heard of this case. Well, just like Idaho, it ended up being Brian who owned the Elantra. So is whoever owns this Toyota who's responsible or involved in this? Is that why they haven't come forward? Why else, when the whole world pretty much knows about this case, why wouldn't you have come forward? Especially when that is such a detailed description of your truck, having white buckets, being that color. But I digress. So on July 12th, 2021, the TBI confirmed that they had received a total of 935 tips related to Summer's disappearance. Sheriff Lawson, in a recorded video message to the public, emphasized that all possibilities were being considered and no theories were ruled out, emphasizing the ongoing efforts to uncover the truth behind Summer's disappearance. 6 weeks after Summer's disappearance, the boys were removed from the Wells home by CPS. Initially, there was little information about this development, as CPS is known for not disclosing details, and furthermore, a gag order had been imposed on the CPS case by the judge. However, Don Wells has since publicly spoken about the events that led to his sons being taken from the home. He revealed that the ordeal of Summer's disappearance had taken a tremendous toll on the family, and in the weeks leading up to the boys' removal, he had been drinking excessively and engaging in other unwanted behaviors that he described as going off the deep end. However, it's important to remember that these are allegations made by Don Wells, and further investigations and legal proceedings would be needed to establish the facts surrounding the boys' removal from the home. CPS cases are typically confidential to protect the privacy and well-being of the children involved. Don expressed relief that his sons were removed from the home by CPS, stating that it had become an unsafe place for them due to the intense public interest in Summer's disappearance. He mentioned that strangers and media had been coming to their house, with some even showing up in the middle of the night. The increased attention and intrusion has made the home feel unsafe for the boys, which was a concern for Don and Candace. In October 2021, Don Wells was pulled over by law enforcement, and he was subsequently arrested and charged with a driving under the influence charge. The incident occurred when Don attempted to make a left turn on a road that was closed, and his vehicle ended up driving off the road and into a grass field near the Hawkins County line. The arresting officer noted that Don had bloodshot eyes and an empty bottle of alcohol in the passenger seat of the vehicle. Dawn admitted to taking a few shots and taking the bottle away from Candace during an argument. The talk screen conducted on the night of his arrest showed no evidence of drugs, but his blood alcohol level was registered at a 0.13, which is above the legal intoxication limit of a 0.08. He was ultimately arrested and held on a just over $5,000 bond, but he was released the following day. The state dropped all of the other charges from the October 30 arrest, which was Dawn's first DUI charge. Shortly after the arrest, his family put out a statement saying there are no words to what each day and night is like. We needed cigarettes. It was a stupid decision. Please keep us in prayer. Keep Dawn. This pain won't go away. Thank you. According to public records, Dawn has a history of previous arrests and charges. Prior to the DUI arrest in October of 2021, Dawn had 3 different charges against him, including felony charges in Utah and a domestic charge filed by Candace herself. Now, this was less than a year before Summer went missing. Candace had filed an order of protection against Dawn on behalf of her and the children. This order of protection was filed after an argument that raised concerns about the potential use of a firearm. Dawn was arrested on October 15, 2020, on charges of unlawful possession of a firearm and a domestic charge. However, Candace ended up dropping the charges against him just 2 months before Summer went missing. The DUI arrest violated a previous probation order after he was arrested for possession of a handgun while intoxicated. So Dawn had to serve the rest of his 11-month and 29-day sentence at the Hawkins County Jail. And while in jail, Dawn released a letter to Summer's alleged kidnappers. This letter read, "To the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer, not only have you broken Summer's heart and taken her away from her mother and father, whom love her very much, but you've ruined her chances to become educated, ruining her life. You have also broken the hearts of her father and mother and brothers, and in the midst of all the commotion, ruined our lives. You see, the public blames us. I don't know if we'll ever find employment again. Nobody will hire my wife, and we've been fired from a job that I've had for 13 years. We may end up losing everything. When you took our little girl, you took our very lives. Why don't you give our little girl back before God's wrath descends on you? You've broken many hearts and more, especially an innocent 5-year-old girl's heart. We'll hold you accountable for this crime unless you do something to make this right. Please do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities. We're begging you with all of our hearts. Please do the right thing." Despite
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is not in his handwriting, just to let you know that.
extensive search efforts involving land, air, and water, investigators have been unable to find any evidence that could lead back to Summer Wells. The Wells home has been searched multiple times, including the basement, crawl spaces, vehicles, outbuildings, barrels, and other areas that could be searched, but no conclusive evidence has been discovered. The TBI has also brought in additional canine units that are trained in specific search methods to comb through the property as well, but nothing has turned up. Search warrants and subpoenas have been issued, allowing them to search all tech devices and social media accounts as well. Investigators have brought in dive teams as well to search nearby bodies of water. They say that neighbors and known people on the registry in the area have also been interviewed as well. Now, Candace has suggested the possibility of a local offender who's on the registry or even a city worker being responsible for Summer's abduction, citing the presence of city workers near her home on the day of her disappearance. Don has also mentioned a theory involving an employee that he had to fire due to suspected drug use, but this theory has not been substantiated with any further evidence. Investigators interviewed all neighbors and known offenders in the area, but despite these efforts, no evidence has been found that directly leads back to Summer or sheds light on her disappearance. As of now, the investigation into Summer's disappearance is ongoing, and no one has been ruled out as a potential person of interest. Both Dawn and Candace have faced public scrutiny due to Dawn's past.
Hey, yes, you, come here. If you're still struggling,
Past legal history and involvement in incidents, which has raised questions about his potential role in Summer's disappearance. It's worth noting that all individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Candace has expressed that she felt bullied and that she felt attacked on social media, despite maintaining her innocence. Dawn Wells speaks up for the first time in almost a year, in late February.
We have to prepare ourselves for a worse case scenario. You know, we could always hope for a good scenario, but you know, it can't be good because no matter what situation she's in, she's lost her freedom. Even if she's alive, she's lost her freedom. She can't be seen in public.
About a month after she was reported missing, her 3 older brothers were placed into DCS custody.
We really want our boys back home. If you know, if Summer was to be found today, we wouldn't be able to see her or talk to her. You know, and we can't talk to our boys.
Were they in touch with Candace when you were in jail?
Yes. You know.
But did something change when you got out of jail?
The only thing that changed is suddenly we weren't allowed to contact them at all.
Wells spent a little more than 8 months in the Hawkins County Jail for pleading guilty to a DUI charge.
One of the guards gave me a copy of the New Living Translation Bible, so I found that to be about the best book there was. So I read. So I read it several times because that's all there really was to do. And I was in 23-hour lockdown. So for my safety, they say.
And since he was released from jail, Wells says it's been a challenge to gain custody back.
They're doing nothing to help us. In fact, they're making us jump through all kinds of hoops, which is almost impossible to jump through all of them and hold a job and do all these things. They're making it real tough on us.
Wells told us he has been in touch with investigators over Summer's case.
There's not one shred of evidence. There's nothing. As much as they looked, as much as the work they've done, they haven't been able to come up with anything at all.
His wife, Summer's mother, Candace, has also been in and out of the hospital.
Candace has been in the emergency room 4 times for heart problems, and we're looking at eventually doing a major surgery, hopefully to correct the problem with her heart. But she's doing better, I think. But all the stress and stuff, it's not helping at all, I don't think, for sure.
Then there are those who suspect that someone close to Summer may have played a role in her disappearance. Internet sleuths have combed through every dissecting interviews and analyzing every single detail. But with each new theory, more questions arise, and the truth seems to slip further away. So as we approach the 2-year anniversary of Summer's disappearance, the investigation continues, with law enforcement actively following leads and conducting interviews. The community remains vigilant, with many holding on to hope that Summer will be found and her family reunited. But as time goes on, the mystery only deepens, leaving everybody to wonder. As we hope for Summer's safe return, it is crucial to remember the importance of factual information and to refrain from jumping to conclusions without any concrete evidence. This last February would have marked Summer's 7th birthday, and the fact that this little girl is still missing is absolutely absurd. Someone out there knows what happened to her, and I hope it comes out soon where she is. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is asking anybody who knows anything at all, big or small, to please call them. The Amber Alert for Summer Wells remains active. She's been missing since June 15th, 2021. So if you have any credible information that can help investigators find out where she is, please call TBI Find. You can also email tips to tipstotbi@tn.gov. At the end of the day, guys, I know so many people have already been talking about this case and so many people are invested in this case, but there are, I'm sure, people who have not heard about it. So please take a quick moment to share the link to this video. Get Summer's story out there.
And the story is out there, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're at the crossroads where it is time to bring in our panel and to see what has transpired. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. More information has came about, which we knew it would be. So let's see here. Kat. Yes, you're smiling and shaking your head. Welcome to the show, Kat.
Good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
we all?
So, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think it's pretty involved. Personally, do you want to hear all what I think?
Yeah, sure do.
Okay, well, I think the father was abusing her. This is all hypothetical, everyone. I believe it was an accident. I think she was running, little Sam was running from Mummy. I think Mummy sometimes got jealous of Daddy and Summer. I believe she's on the property. I believe she's intact. She has a head injury. She fell down the stairs. She was running. She was frightened they were going to hurt her. She'd been hurt before. I think she fell into the basement down the stairs, trying to get to that other exit. I think she was taken by the mother and the father and placed. I don't believe Hunter knows what happened. I don't think she was hurt badly in the water. I think she's 0 to 5 miles from the basement, and it's well covered. It's like a pit under some sort of a container. It seems like there's a big pit underneath it. I don't believe when the mother called the father at work early in the morning, I think the accident had already happened then, and she was calling him and priming him up. I think he left work a lot earlier than what he said he did. And I don't believe his alibi was telling the truth. I think the mother and the father were into some funny business that other people may know of. Horrible, funny business. I think the father lies the whole time, basically, and I reckon he's really good at it. I think he's a professional at abusing, by the way he reacts, his body language, the way his eyes dart, and it seems to me like they've set it up really well as to what to say, what not to say, and I think it gave him time to get back from work, come back home, do what he had to do. I think he's done it before, and I think there are others there as well. I think the mother, every time anyone mentions that cornbread mafia and she goes off ahead, I think she's well experienced with that mob, and I think he threatens her with them. And he's trying to keep her mouth shut, because I feel there could be some footage, some horrible footage with little Sam, the father, and the mother. Different times, but same sort of horrible business. I find it weird how he goes. There's on some of the footage there, they come to a big green barrel area where he says the dogs lost the scent. And then he makes a big deal out of the car being down Ben's Road. He seems to me like he's putting everyone off. Like, I really think he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's very, very, very good at it. I think he's lived in a perpetrator-victim life his whole life, and he's an absolute pro at it. I think he threatens her because of this footage that could be somewhere, if there is the footage. I don't believe the boys knew what happened. I think they know what was going on with the father and the daughter. What else? The red truck. I kept coming back to that red truck. There's footage of the red truck where he's loading it up with these white barrels on the back of this truck. He says it's for work. And I found it very interesting. They keep mentioning the gardening. Of all the things to mention, oh, yeah, we like that, they had made a big deal out of the gardening. If he left work earlier than what they say, he would have had time, and that red truck matches, to, get into another vehicle and lime that pit. And that, I'm not sure how long lime takes to get rid of the smell, but if he got out there in the morning when she phoned, I'd say there would have been time until they all came that night. That's an assumption. I think they know where she's buried. There's other footage of the little girl getting a photo taken, and she's pointing. First, there's a fist, and then the next one, she's pointing to the head like an absolute threat. And so I tried to figure out who the photographer was, because if that was what Summer was saying, and they made a big deal out of how Summer kept the boys in order. So I'm thinking, who was the role model? So I backtracked all the way back down there. The photographer was the mother. Apparently she loves taking photos, and so she's threatening the mother. She's 5 years old, and she's threatening the mother, or whoever the photographer was. I'm assuming it was the mother. Why? Why would she? I think she and Daddy had a good close bond, is my guess. And I think she's close by.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Bluetooth
connected.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
It just seems like he's really good at what he does. He's a pro. If you've studied abuse and trauma and perpetrators and victims, he's a classic. He everything he does, and the way he frames his wordings, he's really good at what he does. This is an assumption, of course.
All parties are proven innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Yeah. But how long does lime take to get rid of smells?
It can be almost instantly. So, yes, depends on how much you use.
Yeah. And no one asks, what's in those white drums on the back of that red truck? And they keep mentioning the gardening, making a big deal. Did you see any garden out in that house?
Now, let me tell you something. Now, there are people that know what happened that lives in that area. Now, if I was a neighbor in the Popo, come knocks on my door and says, I want to search your property, and I say no, well, why in the hell are you going to tell me no? What are you hiding that you are doing illegally that you do not want us to know?
Exactly.
But we're not going to go there, ladies and gentlemen, because that's a different thing. But yes. Things does not add up, like always, Lady Wolf. I know. Like they're right, Stephanie Green. Narcissist traits, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you like to add, Kat?
The things that baffled me were the green drum thing where he tries to put everyone off the track. The way they made a big deal out of Summer always put the boys in their place. Summer had control over the boys. So to me, Summer was mates with the father and the boys, and I think she was frightened of the mother.
One thing that really got me is that when they asked the dad, what do you think that should happen to the person that's involved?
Yeah.
Should they go to prison? Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Bad things happen in prison.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, they ought to throw the damn frying pan at him, put him in the chair,
It
put
was
the
like,
needle in the arm,
yeah, it was
flip
like
the
she
switch.
knew. Yep.
But anyways, that's just me. All right, here we go. Next up, Lola. Welcome, Lola. She's like, oh, what? Yes. Hello, welcome back. She's got her thing muted. There she goes.
I haven't. Hi, everybody. Hi, Grizzly. Yeah, I haven't really been following this, and it's just interesting to sort of hear what everybody has to say. I agree with what you've just said now about when he was asked what should happen. And to me, it felt as though he was really referring to himself. I do agree with that, very much so. I haven't watched or listened to a lot of this case. Initially, years ago, my daughter used to watch this. She was quite obsessed with it on the YouTube. So she used to follow it. And initially, I felt that when I first saw it, I felt that the daughter was a trade-off for some debts that had been owed. I didn't know any of the details to do with the case, but that was my first impression. So at the moment, I'm not really sure. I'm just listening to what's going on, listening to what's being presented.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are things that we cannot say on YouTube. That's why we have to say debts, because if we say what we want to say, we are flagged. So we're calling them debts. So yes.
Debts, yeah.
Yep, debts.
So yeah, so I'm just listening. I'm just absorbing the information, and then I'll be going into what I feel as to
All
what is
right.
and what's not. So yeah, I'll be an observer for the time. Grizzly.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Lola. Greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it. Welcome back. All right, next up, we'll have Derek. There he is. He's jumping back. Let me get him settled in. Give me thumbs up when you're ready. All right, give me thumbs up. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Derek, what do you come up with?
Right, so before we start, I messaged you last week to say that I got a link to this little girl. Remember me saying to you? And I kept getting Summer, which I now figure out is the little girl's name. Yeah? With talking to her, I also know that she was either swimming or by some water at some point before she got killed, before she went home, because she's telling me about how she was enjoying herself, how she was happy, how she was having a laugh. And it's like she's swimming or paddling or somewhere around water. Yeah. Then I see her going home. Now, this is when the fun starts. I don't think, with talking to her, that she was taken. I do feel that there's a link with her parents that's already been said. I also got an accident and an head injury, but I don't think she was killed straight away. So I feel she was alive for a little bit. Then something went wrong. Then she got killed. But it wasn't straight away. It wasn't on the same day. It wasn't on the same hour. It was a few days after that she was reported missing. They kept her somewhere. Then she went missing. And all this has all started. I do feel that she's close to home. I do feel that she can see the house from where she is.
Interesting.
But she can't get to it. I do feel there's a clearing in between her and the house. So there's a clearing part where it's clear, where there's no trees, just grass. And I do feel that she's at the other side of the clearing, but she can see her house from where she is. Like's been said, I do feel that there's a connection with her parents. So one of them is involved, one of them is covering up. So they both know what has happened to their daughter. And all I kept getting out of war, she kept saying, "Mummy, help! Mummy, help!" So she was saying that to me all the time as well as I was trying to figure out where she was. There's a lot of things. We had a case. I'll go back. We had a case in the UK that mirrors this extremely closely, and they wanted money. They wanted to get fame and fortune, and then they hid her daughter away at some friends, and luckily she was found. But this so mirrors what is going off in this family. For one thing, why would you turn around on a talk show and say people are blaming us because we're poor? Hang on, your daughter's gone missing. Poor doesn't come into it. If you're rich, poor, whatever. If a child goes missing, that should not come into the equation. Why would you say they're blaming us because we're poor? Why would you say that? It mirrors this UK one so much, but I do feel as though there's a link with her parents why she's gone missing.
Interesting. Interesting.
And it's a very strong link. It's like she's scared to talk to one, which is why she kept saying, "Mummy, help, mummy, help." It's like one of the parents, father probably, is the one that she's scared to mention his name or to go to him for help. It's a strange thing with it, if you know what I mean, Grizzly, yeah?
Right.
It really is sort of, yeah, there's more to her disappearance than meets the eye. There's a lot of things going off around the family circle that know what's happened to her, but nobody's saying anything.
Is there outside family influences controlling this?
I do feel, but it's not just the immediate family, so it's not just the mother and the father. It goes to a wider family circle. It's like everybody seems to know what's happening or what's happened, but they're not talking out. They're not saying nothing. They're like keeping scum. They're not letting out like they've been told not to, or they don't want to get involved, or they're part of what's gone off. I don't know, but it's a wider circle than just for two parents.
Interesting. I said there was more to this than what was led on to from the get-go.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more going off within the family circle that has not been mentioned or not been talked about or not come out. But I don't feel that she was abducted. That's never come into it. I've never felt that. But I said to you, I felt that she was alive for so long, but killed later. It's like she was put somewhere before she was killed, and that's what I kept feeling with her, and that's what it kept doing to me all the time. And I could feel as though she was still alive, but then something happened to her where she had some sort of injury or something happened to her. Either she was hit, she fell, whatever, and that is what killed her.
Now, do you suspect that her mom and dad has any involvement with the cornbread mafia?
That one, I couldn't answer that. I wouldn't want to. I don't know. Like the first one said, it's all speculation. That I wouldn't want to say yeah. I want to say no. But there's more to it than meets the eye. Can you remember the case we did last time, which was it sort of mirrors that. There's a lot more behind the scenes going off than what we know about. Yeah, there's a lot more happening. Yes, there's a little girl gone missing. It's sad she's gone missing. It's sad that the parents are involved. It's sad that people around the family are involved. But there's more to it. There's more going off that we don't know about.
Interesting.
As psychics or investigators, we try to get a link to the child, to what happened to her, to what happened to that. And the way she keeps talking to me is that she's frightened of other people in the family, not just the father figure. There's more going off. There's stuff happening that is scaring her, that were making it worse for her. I do feel that this time she used to hide and not come out, and she wouldn't be found for maybe an hour and a half because she didn't want to be found. She wanted to keep away from what was going on around her. It was her safety net, her place to go to. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's seen a lot at such a young age. Things that she shouldn't have to be done to her or seen or whatever. But there's more to it than just her missing.
Interesting. All right, stand by, sir. Stand by. All right, next up on the block is Kelly Joe. Kelly Joe, welcome to the show. Welcome. All right, what'd you come up with?
Oh, I feel like I feel like she is dead. She knew her killer. It was a man. 5 people were involved. I see a compact car. It was a dark color with an all-terrain shift, and she'll be found like maybe 7 miles away from where she was. I can hear a train clacking and a whistle of a train, and they'll find her right shoe first. And then when they find the shoe, she'll be, I don't know how long a click is. It says 1 click away from the shoe.
Interesting.
And they'll find her like a thigh bone and her skull, because I saw a white shiny thing, so that's her skull. So she is dead, and the family was into unsavory dealings, whatever. And
Okay.
And it did correlate to things that they did that she went missing. And like I said, it was a man and she knew her killer.
Wow. So was it besides the parents involved?
Yeah, there's other people involved. It was an outside influence that killed her. That's what I feel.
Did it have anything to do with the mafia that everybody claims to be associated with or worried about?
No, they're just involved in unsavory things. I don't think it's mafia related. That's what I got.
Okay, interesting.
Another thing, I got a road. I got a Kelsey Road. I have no idea where it is. I got the name of a road.
And what was the name of the road? What was the name of it?
Kelsey Road.
Okay.
Kelsey.
All right.
Yeah, road. But I can hear that train and the train whistle, but it's in a distance. So and she's by a creek. So, like, you know how you hear a faint train whistle? I don't know how many miles that would be, but you know how you can hear a train whistle in the distance and train tracks. It's like a freight train. You can hear the wheels clacking.
Okay. All right.
But I feel like she was strangled because she wouldn't shut up. She was screaming, so they strangled her.
Wow. Okay. All right. Stand by. Next up, Catherine. Here we go. Yes. You ready? Thumbs up when you're ready. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
That's good. Now, hi everybody. What I got was just a photo. I haven't done any research. I haven't, and that's my motto all the time, that even when I do remote viewing, or even if I go to haunted locations, I don't want to do any research until I see what's going on. So through the photo, I didn't get a name, but I got the little girl, her parents were involved. They knew, they traded her. I'm not going to say for what. As you said, it's not allowed to say it on YouTube. So there she was
Right.
traded for debts. Okay. They knew about it. They even, I feel like even when they not confessed, but when they were taken to get interrogated by the police, even if they did do a lying detector test, they passed it with flying colors. It was like they knew how to pass the flying detecting test. Someone said about a train, I think it was Lady Wolf, about the train. The person that not abducted her, took her, was traded from her parents, and the person that took her, I do see a pickup truck, and from the pickup truck, I do see that they put her with that person on the train. I am hearing the train, and I am hearing the whistle of the train. So, but I'm also, remember how I said to you last week when we spoke that I felt that she was alive? Now
Right.
I feel she's dead.
Oh, wow.
So it's like they try to cross her over some borders. I don't know if it was the borders in Mexico, or they wanted to take her over to Europe. They just wanted to pass her through the borders. So that's where the train falls in. Now I'm seeing her. This is the picture that I'm getting. She's been molested by the parents, and they let other people molest her. Everybody knows what's going on in the neighborhood. Relatives know all about it, but everybody's hush hush. So it's like they knew, and it's like they were getting payment for that. That's how disgusting this is, of letting their child being molested and raped by other people. As I said, she was traded for other things. She was taken away on the pickup truck, on the train, and then I'm seeing her with her hands tied on her back. Her face is really dirty. Her hair is dirty, and then she's wearing this pink frilly little dress with white shorts, and they've got her face down on the ground like that, and it's like she's suffocating.
Wow.
So it's like last week, it was like she was, like when I told you I felt like she was alive, but now I feel like she's dead. That's the image I got, like today and yesterday, like she was showing me that image. So I do believe that she's not alive. It's like she's dead and alive. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It really does.
So yeah.
One of the things I want to do is to make sure everybody's aware is that anytime that we work on cases is that number one, we do not look into the case at all. Number two, we do not share any information. 3, we do not elaborate or share what you find with anybody, with any other psychics. We don't want any type of self cross-contamination of anybody's abilities. So it's very important. There's a couple of them was not able to make it tonight. So, but it's very crucial that we keep those standards in place, so that way we know that when we go over these cases, that our personal feelings are not involved, right? What we see does not alter what we believe. It's when I tell you and certain other ones, Kelly Jo and Catherine, it's kind of hard for me to tell reality and what is real and not real with me sometimes. So I just don't even use it. I throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's very important because the truth will come out. There are people in the community that does know what happened. There are people, it's weird, that does not let people search their property, which I do not understand why. If you have nothing to hide, then come on, come free, come one, come all. but there's more to the story or other things that maybe be some type of legal activity that they're engaged in, whatever it may be, harvesting or growing or whatnot. Who knows? I'm theorizing here, but law enforcement perspective. But if somebody's knocking at my front door and is asking about a missing 5-year-old, well, now 7, yeah, you want access to my property and take your dogs and want to sniff around and help yourself, ladies and gentlemen. So, but when I say people's made a circus out of this, they have.
Yeah.
So I kind of do not blame these Facebook groups not want to be involved in certain activities or functions or whatever types of engagements. I can write some of that off, but at least we know now that the money that was put up for reward, the parents are not going to receive. So then I got emails. It's like, well, they live so horrible conditions. And here's the point, ladies and gentlemen, and this is my point. I do not care how poor you are. I don't care how much money you do not make. You do not have to live a certain way, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have to live in filth. You can still run a vacuum. You can still do the dishes. You can still be organized, neat, and clean. I've known people that were so filthy poor, you wouldn't even recognize they were in public because they dressed so average and well-groomed. So I think that makes good sense, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion. So Nicole says yes. Me either, Kelly. I was waiting for this so tragic. So what's interesting is going to be found is that I think that every piece of information that has been gathered this evening is going to fit into a puzzle somehow. It will. My heart goes out to the little girl. Does she know, ladies and gentlemen, does she know that she's gone? Does she know that she's passed?
No, I don't feel she does. I think she still feels that she's around.
Wow. See, that's hard. That's hard.
It's really, it's hard because especially when you've got kids and you're looking at kids like missing cases like that, it's unbelievable.
Now, I wasn't there, ladies and gentlemen, when they took the polygraph test. Now, I know beyond a reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that you can pass polygraph tests under the influence of narcotics and prescribed medications. Yes, you can, because they actually ask you that. Before you take a polygraph test, are you under the influence of any type of scheduled narcotic, or are you taking any prescribed medication that can alter or change or skew polygraph examination answers or test results? And they will ask you for a list of medications. And if you are, they will postpone that test to make sure that that is out of your system before you take that test. Now, if you've never taken a polygraph test, ladies and gentlemen, they will read you that test, not once, but twice. And there's a reasons why they read you that test. And they read you those questions before you take that test. Because they want you to get inside your head that they're going to ask you these questions, and they want you to know it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. These questions are coming, and you're going to have to answer them. I'm going to have to light a candle for the sweet girl. Well, Nicole, hopefully you do. It's sad. Brian, my God will speak with her today to help her. Well, good. I hopefully you do. It's sad. Lady Wolf, and they take your natural readings before the test. Yes, they do have a baseline. They ask you your basic questions, your age, name, date of birth, and they throw a little few skew questions in there. Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can find one here. Let's see here. Polygraph.
So can I ask a question? Because
Yes, yes, go ahead.
I did see the lie detector test in front of me when both parents took it. So being both drug addicts, because they are, and I'm sorry I'm saying it out here like that, and on medication, mental medication. So they did cocktails with alcohol and drugs and medication pills. So that means someone from the inside was helping him with the lying detecting tests for them to pass it with flying colors.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, anytime that you have debts, we're going to call them debts.
Exactly.
Because YouTube, that's why I'm on other platforms. But people can
It depends
help
on the
you along the
questions too,
way.
doesn't it? Like if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
saying, did you
Watch
kill
this.
such and such? But they didn't actually kill. They had something to do with kill. The father seems really good at dealing with all these questions, etc., all the time. He seems like a pro.
Yeah. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if you hear the audio. I don't remember if I clicked the audio. Can you hear the audio?
Not yet.
No audio. How did I know that, ladies and gentlemen? How did I know? So let's try this one more time. All right. Start over again.
And get hired at a police department. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. Curtis, you're a police officer. Why would you help people learn how to lie to pass a police exam? Well, I didn't say that, did I? I'm not going to teach you to lie. I don't want you to lie in a police polygraph. I want you to tell the truth. But I also want you to understand how it operates and what some of the true purposes behind the polygraph are, so that you can go into that test armed, having disclosed the truth to your background investigator, and still pass that test. And why that's important is the polygraph is not a full scientific measure. It's a lot of pseudoscience, which is another name for a load of crap. And because of that, there are going to be false positives, people that are telling the truth, and yet the polygraph operator believes they're lying, and they end up being disqualified. So if you understand a little more about how the test works, are prepared, disclose everything that should be disclosed in your background, you are going to do better on that polygraph exam, and you're going to pass it. And then now you're going to get yourself employed on a police department and avoid the embarrassment and the stigma of failing. The first thing to know is, what is the polygraph really looking for? What they're doing is they're looking for physiological differences, reactions from you telling the truth, telling maybe a little lie, and then telling a big lie. So they establish that with asking 3 different types of questions. The first type are what we call irrelevant questions. They're questions that you're not going to react to at all. They're asking you, yes. Do you live in 1700 John Street? Yes. Then they're going to ask you what are really the control questions, which are questions that they're expecting a little bit lie out, but they're not really what we would call a disqualifying question. Because yes, law enforcement agencies know that it's a human characteristic, that there's certain things that you may lie on. So with that little lie, then they're able to judge some of those little reactions that you do. Then they're going to ask you the real relevant questions. And the relevant questions have to do with, are you being processed? Did you disclose all your drug use to us? Have you ever used cocaine? Have you ever done something else that's on their list of the actual true background questions? They're looking at comparisons between those. They're going to run them in a series where they're going to ask you the questions. They're going to repeat that series a couple, 2 or 3 times. They're going to compare the results. And then when they look at that, the polygraph operator is going to make a determination of whether you're truthful or not. Polygraph operator may ask you some questions again to get a second look at those readings. And now, while this is going on, let's say the polygraph operator has a feeling that, hey, maybe you're not being totally truthful on this question. And then they're going to come and ask you, is there anything you want to disclose? Well, this is actually a psychological trap, because if you have nothing to disclose, if you have already told the police department everything in a background check, there should be nothing for you to talk about. And what you need to do is you need to tell the background polygraph operator, look, I have disclosed everything. I am not trying to hide anything. And that's it. You're done. When he tells you that I think that I'm finding something that's bothering you, you have to respond back. There's nothing bothering me on this test, and deny those charges, and then just say, I just don't know why. I don't know why you're getting that reaction, because there is nothing I'm holding back. And if you were honest and truthful through the whole process of that background form.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I'd like to give you a few reasons why you should consider dating a young Slavic lady.
Then this shouldn't be a problem. If you actually are being deceptive, then it probably is a problem. And for people that are actually being deceptive through the background process and on the polygraph, this is where they get you, because then the psychological pressure of the moment, then those folks admit, yes, I made this mistake. Yes, I didn't fully get this information. And once you admit that, it's over, game over. Once you admit to the polygrapher, your background investigator, I lied at this point in my process. I know I said I never used cocaine. Well, you know what? I'm lying. I actually.
So the reason why I'm showing you, ladies and gentlemen, this video, it's not because of cocaine, anything like that. It's because it's how it's structured. The questions, how it is structured, the questioning. And that is the key to a good polygraph examiner. Because if it is structured properly, you cannot beat it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, I mean, I can ask you all day long, did you kill your cat? You can say no.
No.
So, but in law enforcement terms, and this is where a lot of people get confused. I don't know if my mic's hot or not. It sounds like I am. So let me turn it down a little bit. Do you know what a difference between an admission and a confession? Do you know the difference between those two, ladies and gentlemen, an admission and a confession? A lot of people don't. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Now, an admission, right? An admission is Derek is like, Grizzly, I did it. That's an admission. Now, Lola, Poor little Lola. She confesses to me, Grizzly, I did it. At 2:30 a.m., I walked over to that neighbor's house with that hammer. I knocked out that glass pane window. I reached inside, I unlocked that door. I walked upstairs. First hit was the dad. Then I walked into the other room. Next hit was the daughter. Now, that is an admission. So a confession states I did it. An admission tells you the elements of the crime, details. See, that's what I look for. Anybody can say anything. Poor Lola, I'm not trying to portray you to be a murderer or anything. We could say that you could have been anything, done anything, took $20 out of a drawer. Doesn't matter to me. But that is, ladies and gentlemen, that is the difference, and the people usually don't know that. That's why in movies, when they were like, "Yeah, I did it," they're like, "Oh, that was easy." They're like, "Snap, sit down, Jack. You got nothing on me." Yeah, you just confessed. No, I didn't. I said I did it. I didn't tell you how I did it. So, yeah. They actually made a movie of that. I'll never forget. I can't remember the name of the movie, but yes. It meant to say it from the beginning. So, yes. So, it's all in how you phrase your questions. See, Derek, I can ask you a question 5 different ways without you realizing it, and you'll give me 5 different answers each and every time. You won't even realize it. That's why I'm divorced.
It's true, though. It's the same with the dowsing.
Yes.
You know, you can, like, if you say, "Is this person alive?" That will fail. That is not a good question. You know, if you ask, "Is that person alive and breathing at this moment in time?" Yes, you'll have a much better question. Succinct. It's exactly what you're saying, Grizzy. They know exactly how to word stuff around.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I went to that civilian company and they were like, "We're having problems with something." And they're like, "So you're really good with handwriting analysis, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Look at this." And within 5 minutes, I was like, "This person's telling the truth. This person's lying. This person's actually helping this person. And this person's going to confess to everything that this person's done. And also apologize that this person was helping this person." They laughed at me. I said, "What do you want to do the interview?" They're like, you really want to do the interview?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do the interview." 7 minutes and 33 seconds. I got up and walked out, and they were like, "It's not hard if you know what you're looking for, ladies and gentlemen." So is it a blessing or is it a cursing? It depends on how you look at it. Now, I'm not psychic. I don't have abilities. Some say I do, some say I don't, but I don't know. But Lola, you crack me up. You make me smile. She's like, "Oh, Lord, what did I do now?" But really, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. And I'm not saying any law enforcement officer or investigator did anything wrong in this particular case. We weren't there, but you got to ask the right questions.
Exactly.
And let me tell you something. If somebody's got something to hide, you put enough pressure on somebody, they will crack.
Yeah.
They will. It always happens. So.
He looked like he was going to crack when they were asking him those questions right up near that big green barrel. His eyes kept darting from side to side. He's kept pointing over to different places. To me, it looked like they were close, really close.
Beyond a reasonable doubt, he was under the influence of something.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So was she.
Yeah.
Each time they were interviewed.
Yep, I agree.
So.
Hard to get accurate readings when they're out of it.
It is. Now, if they have mental illness problems, which a lot of people in this world do, can that play a role in polygraph tests? Yes, because some people may not realize that they may have done something wrong. Or can people block things in, where I'm going with this?
Yep. If
People
their
can.
reality is that reality, then that's what the results will be. Because in their head, that's their reality.
Yeah, so Nicole, blinking, you have to get the norm, Nicole, blinking. You have to get the person's norm. But always get close to who you're talking to. I like to touch knee to knee. Yes, that's my favorite. No desk. You can't sit behind a desk, knee to knee, chair to chair. That's the way I like it. You feel it all. But, yeah. But I don't know. So, what do you think overall over the case, though? It's very sad, I think. I think it's very sad. I think it's a very sad case. Hopefully they get some resolution.
And, excuse me, why did they protect him in prison? Why was he protected? I found that very odd.
So, now, he was in county lockup. Now, when he was in actual prison, okay, I would probably assume because of his previous charges of sex molestation. No, what did he go to prison for?
DUI, wasn't it?
No, he went to prison before, because they didn't press the charges for the sex molestation. Remember, because the parents dropped it. Remember, because they didn't want to get a divorce.
Yeah, then he got done for, I think, 2 DUIs in a row.
So he went for something, yeah. I don't remember what it was offhand.
I don't think he went in for the child molestation, because that's why I thought, well, why are you being protected? If you're not in there for that, like the boys will sort you out. But for some reason, they had him protected. Why would you protect someone on DUI?
No, DUI, nobody cares about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To me, it seemed like others, like you said, Derek, others know what else is going on, but they won't come clean because they're too scared to come clean, because if they come clean, they'll be going down with the rest of them.
Yep.
That's my feeling as well, Derek.
And like I said before, there's someone on the inside helping them.
It's pretty
It was weird because on the last show, a lot of people was picking that up. And I kept my mouth shut. Yes. A lot of people was picking that up. So.
Poor little girl.
But now the next case we're working on, ladies and gentlemen, it is a twister. So it is going to be very interesting. I won't talk about it because you're all here, and I don't know how many people are going to be involved in. But it's a older gentleman. Well, not an older gentleman, in his 30s. But I'll leave it at that. And does it take a twist? So, yeah, it's very interesting. And he just off the face of the earth just disappears. So, Another doozer? Yes, Missy Juju, another doozer. And this was sent in by a viewer. Caught my attention. The husband is affiliations, and I believe the mother knows about it, scared.
Same.
So, but see, the only thing that I have a problem with is you're not supposed to judge a person by its past, but unfortunately, the past and the history repeats itself.
Well, also,
So-
you know, when you learn, if you're living in an abusive, traumatizing, terrifying situation for over a period of time, you learn how to cope with it in, you know, ways that you shouldn't become good at. And I reckon he's good at it. I reckon, and I think the mother as well. I think they've lived in hell and scary, scary times for a long time. And that's why I think the father's so good at covering, evading, giving different questions and answers. It's like he's leading the show. He's good at it.
Well, he got caught molesting his sister. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what y'all didn't know about. Now, his mother was going to press charges. And Donnie's dad was like, if you press charges, I'm getting a divorce. Let me tell you something. I would have whacked his ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
He's
my
too good at
kids,
it.
like that girl said, I would have been on the streets homeless with my kids.
Yeah.
So.
And even
because
the way
we
he
had
touches her.
Well,
Sorry.
there's a lot of backstory on this one. Whether it's true or not, I have no idea. But this one girl did a hell of a thing putting it together. So, yeah. So, we'll wait and see. I know that one girl's watching it. 10,000 plus group members of Summer Wells Facebook group that wouldn't talk to me, even though I gave her my real name.
Wow.
So, but at
We
least
all
we
just
know
want to bring it
now.
home.
Yeah, at least we know now that the mom and dad's not getting the money. And I can give two shits rat's ass if she's got heart problems. I don't care.
It was all about the money.
Yeah.
It was all about the money. That's all it was.
That's the first thing I picked up on.
Yeah.
$40,365.73.
Wow.
The Advocacy Centre, 3rd Judicial District, AIDS Abused Children. I nearly vomited when I saw that.
Really?
Yes.
So it was all about the bloody money. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was given back later on to those
Good.
people.
Jesus.
And the cameras they had in the bush, did anyone mention those? Why they weren't working?
It's strange how things doesn't work when something happens.
Yeah, exactly. There's
So-
some weird things with this.
But there's
The
people
bugs-
out there in that community that knows what happens.
Exactly. Everybody knows, and everybody's playing dumb.
Yes,
Mhm.
there.
Like that Facebook
Yes.
group.
Kelly, you're awful quiet. What are you thinking about over there?
Well, I
She's
think
turning her mic on.
Oh,
I said a lot of people knows what happened. They ain't talking there, and the parents knew, and there's like 3 other people involved that knew, and there's a lot of the molestations and all that stuff. That's awful, and that's been going on forever, and the beat goes on. But the truth is going to come out. There's something about October, so maybe open.
what
She
was
said
that?
something about October.
Here. Yeah.
So
Hello from Canada. Welcome from Northern Kentucky and across the world, from anywhere between Florida to Greece to UK to wherever else we're calling from. Lola, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Cat, Australia. Palm Spring. Yes, we're everywhere tonight. Nicole, I forgot where you're from. Messy, Tennessee. Lady Wolf, I forgot. My mind's kind of like Earth. Brian's like Earth. How did I know you was going to say Earth? Earthbound. But yeah, so the next week's show is going to be interesting. I got to do a little more homework on it. Very strange. So I'll have that lined out for us and see how that goes. I should be able to do all that in one show and have everybody on the next show. So yeah. But I greatly appreciate everybody's participation, and hopefully this adds up and helps people out and put some things to rest. So any last words before we let everybody go?
I just hope they bring her home soon.
I do too.
Poor little
I do
girl.
too.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
I do too.
Well, I'm justice for the little girl. She's poor baby.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from us to you to us, and from coast to coast around the world, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you all.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, get out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!